All right, we'll wait until we get a few people on here. I will set the live chat up when we will see how my internet holds up. So we'll see how this works. So you guys know if this doesn't work out, if say my Wi-Fi won't hold out or internet won't hold out. Hey, Nathaniel, I mean. So I was just saying that if my internet doesn't hold out, that I will just do this as an actual video. What's up? So I've been doing some sharpening this morning. I'm taking a break. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have arthritis and it's a bad day for it. Things hurt today. So I have done a bunch of sharpening, but I have a couple things left to sharpen. I'm gonna do this one next. It's a Koenig. So, man, this is so smooth. Really, really is. It's that big detent ball and the rather weak lock bar detent. So it does it. Dustin! So what we're gonna talk about is benefits of a recurve blade. So you guys know I sharpen recurves, and I got a couple recurve knives. I cannot find my Spartan, but I have Matt's big kukri, which is one of the most pronounced recurve blades. Well, have fun in Japan. And so doing this live like I did yesterday allows me to not have to do a bunch of editing, which eats up time. So we're gonna discuss some of this stuff live. So recurve blades are pretty much every culture, every country has their own recurve blades. There's a lot of the American Bowie knives have got a recurve back in the flat area. And there's a few reasons for that. So woodworking, things like that, a draw knife, like a true draw knife has a bit of a recurve to it, and what it allows you to do is you maintain better contact, especially if you're trying to make a rounded shape for draw cutting and things like that. You can get in there and you can bring it back and you can knock corners off, and then you have that rounded area that lets you make rounded shapes or things like that. But the big one you're going to see is in a chopping blade, or because you have that weight forward and it maintains, you hit that big belly area there and it just comes through. It's a lot like the same principle in a Tonto. But one of the big things that I always see when I see a recurve blade is the fact that what it does is it brings material into itself. There's a reason that sickles and scythes have got a rounded shape. It's the same reason. This grabs the material and it forces it down into that curve, cutting the entire time. That's why this is such an effective tool for self-defense, because it will grab that material and pull it in and it catches, and you can just lay a devastating cut. It's the same principle as, like I said, using a sickle. The forward tip of the blade catches some of that material and it starts to drag that through, and it cuts that swath of material a lot more effectively than what you would get from a straight blade. If you guys remember the story about the civilian and the matriarch, Sal Glesser was approached to make a blade that required no training to be effective. So you have, on this, you kind of have two recurves. It's an S shape. There's a low area here, it stands up here, and then it swings back down and then comes back up. And so you're gonna cut, and it forces material into here, and then this continues to grab material and continue to cut. So while I do see the benefit, I own a few of them. I like the way they cut. My Spartan is great for being camping and things like that, so this would be great too. They've become really effective tools for combat. You can use a kukri for so many things, but the reason people shy away from a recurve a lot of times is they're very difficult to sharpen. So the benefits are you get a lot of forward weight, because you have more material forward, so it allows you to bring that chop down, especially on like a kukri where you have a large, these are a little bit different. You know, this doesn't really have that big area forward where it's got that big rounded area that I've sharpened a bunch of recurves, but it definitely, they serve, different recurves serve different purposes. Like I said, this is great for chopping. You've got an area in here where you can get in and do detail work. One of the nice things, I've used my Spartan for this. When you're wanting to shave off kindling off of a piece of wood, I can get a hold of this just like this because it's got a big belly area, and I can just push it down a piece of wood, taking off slivers of material and giving myself some fine kindling, because I have that handhold where I can do more work. I can get my hand on it and push, and I've got a lighter area where I'm not reaching around the blade and things like that. What's up, Tammy? I'm just kidding, Jared. So that's one of the benefits of that. You can actually even still do, like if you were, say you're out in the woods, and all you had was this, you can do the same thing. You just get a hold of it. You can either push away from yourself or draw towards yourself carefully, and whittle off some stuff. So I didn't want anybody to think that I am opposed to recurve blades. The thing that I see is a lot of times it's an aesthetic thing. Riat does a couple of them, and don't get me wrong, they're really attractive. But most people aren't going to need to carry a recurve unless they're carrying something for self-defense. I carry this a lot because it's a comfortable thing to carry, and things like that. This is another one that's really comfortable to carry. I've got it set for left-hand carry so that I have something that the dumb hand can use without any training. And so recurve blades with a deep recurve like this, like a karambit, you can reach out and you can just, it's like having a claw, tiger claw. So there's another benefit. It swings that tip forward into a point where you have more of a slashing type cut, as opposed to the slash cut that you would get from, well, let's see, like this. Do you see what I mean? And if you guys remember, I talked about Wharncliffe blades and how they can be used really effectively for self-defense because, conveniently, they kind of do the same thing. This is more effective at it, but this maintains a straight edge, so I'm cutting, 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 as opposed to cutting, cutting, I lose that pressure. These are even better at it because that hook, either one of these, that will hook in and continue to cut inside and not slip off at all. Even more so, even better than a warning. So it just is. It's one of those blade designs that I think people buy because it's attractive. Because they are. It's a cool looking line. I mean, the kukri. What's up, Cody? The kukri has been a proven, battle-tested tool that the Gurkhas use and have employed for years, and they are deadly with it. And they use it for everything. They use it for food prep, self-defense, chopping wood, anything that you could use. It is I would have to say, it is the epitome of a survival knife. You can use it for chopping wood, wood prep for campsites. You can use it for fine detail work. If you get forward, on a lot of them, they have a forward grip like this where you can get forward and do fine detail work. And so there's a ton of recurved blades out there, but there's not a lot of people that talk about like the benefits of it, like the real benefits of it. They're a very versatile blade. I mean, there are some of them, like this is not as versatile as this is. I mean, this has a lot of different uses. This is kind of limited in its, ooh, missed the deployment. It needs cleaned. It gets carried a lot. So it's all about, what do you need the knife for? Do you really need a recurve? And is a recurve going to get you where you want to go? Because I can do this for you. For most of my day-to-day tasks, this is not really the best choice. This one, even less so, because this one is so fine and so thin that it would break. I'm afraid it would break. I've seen a lot of them with broken. Just that front claw is just broken off. But you know, it's been a, you know, ceramics have been around for a very long time. All recurve blades have been around for a very long time, and I wanted to touch on some of the benefits of it. So I apologize that there wasn't a live feed this morning. I had a couple things that I had to do. What's everybody doing today? Let's see. Because I mean, basically we touched on it. That's about pretty much all I had to say. And unless you guys have some questions about it, I'm probably going to start sharpening here in a minute. So this Koenig is a pretty nice knife. Are you still on your hike? Was it the Appalachian Trail? We quit being lazy. If I can get in your car and drive out here. Forgot something. Hang on just a second, guys. So I got up this morning and I had a bunch of stuff to do. I still didn't feel good. I still don't feel good. Ozark Trail. So yeah, I walked part of the Appalachian Trail one time. I did a trip down because I'm from the Appalachian area. I'm from fucking Southeast Ohio. I live in the foothills of the Allegheny Appalachian Mountains. Matter of fact, they consider where I live Appalachia. Oh, wow. Well, tell him congratulations. I am going to... Oh, I have a question for all of you guys. I know that there's a lot of you guys that own Koenig knives. I don't seem to have a point of contact. I thought I had Bill's card from the One Knife Show. I would like to reach out to Koenig and talk to him about the sharpening on their knives, because I'm noticing a similarity to what's happening on their knives that's happening on Spyderco's knives. This one included. It's got a spot that is faceted right at the very tip. Can you see where it changes color? It's faceted, and it means that somebody kicked it into that grinder a little further than intended. So if any of you guys have got like a card that came with the knives or anything like that, where there's an email, I would love to just talk to them about their sharpening process and maybe see if I can provide any advice. Because I'm gonna have to talk to this guy. I am gonna have to reprofile this, because I'm seeing it's M390 and it needs a serious reprofile on that tip. But other than that, what's everybody else doing? There's 10 of you. Only 10? Usually there's 11 or so. We haven't done a live sharpening video in a while, have we? I don't remember. When was the last time we did this, where I just sat around and I sharpened for a while? I have arthritis in my spine. And neck, because I broke my neck when I was like, oh, I want to say I was maybe 20. I fractured my neck. And as I've gotten older, I have a lot of neck and back pain, because my autoimmune disorder as well presents a lot like arthritis. So I think that's what was causing my migraine yesterday, not so much the weather like I thought. I think that it was a lot to do with my neck was starting to hurt, which caused muscle spasms and stuff like that. You know, you joke about that. It's not it's not a joke. I don't think you were joking. I think you truly do know you're in the military. But shipboard life for a sailor, one of the most dangerous scenarios, living conditions that you can actually be in. It's so many things every day just want to kill you. A Delica. Yeah, this is gonna have to have a lot of reprofiling. I had to stop, I had to clean my stones, and I didn't feel real great. I realized that I was doing this. I was doing this and it was causing my neck to hurt worse. I do that a lot when I'm really concentrating. I'll flex all the muscles in my shoulders and neck and down my back. And then I wear myself out sitting here sharpening, and I just have to make the conscious, just drop my shoulders and only use a little bit of muscle. Yeah, this stone's not even touching at the tip on this side either. M390, it's challenging when it needs reprofiled sometimes. So, it's not quite there yet. Oh wow. So I can't tell whether this was sharpened previously by someone. No, it wasn't. This is the factory grind. There's a good bit of reprofiling that needs done on this. Let's see. Yeah, I do. I do use acupuncture, and it helps a lot. It's just I don't have $80 fucking right now to go, and I know it's much for my daughter's ice time. Right about $500 a month right now for the rink that her primary rink, and then we have to buy. I think last month we bought ice time at the other two rinks that she goes to, because she can't only skate at one rink. She has to have the different types of ice. Different rinks have different types of ice. They feel different, they act different. So she has a pass at 3 rinks, but the other ones aren't as expensive because we don't buy as much, because she doesn't go to the other rinks as often. Usually she's at her home rink. So it's right about $500 a month right now for ice time, and then just about the same for coaching, and then costumes and stuff like that. So we're running just about $1,000 a month just on her skating. So guys, if you need anything sharpened, you can send it. So let me explain something I'm doing. Occasionally, if you're doing a lot of heavy reprofiling and things like that on a knife, I'm gonna give you guys a little tip. Switch between grits back and forth. So go really coarse, and then go back to something finer. And what it does is, it gives you a new surface to establish scratch pattern on. And it's like filing, and you start filing in the grooves, and then it just doesn't seem like it wants to cut, because you're making those kerf marks in the same spot every time. It actually starts to hinder your ability to get that edge sharp. And so that's what I'm doing. You're sending something else. Okay, Yakov, I'm all ears. Give me a second and I'll check. I just want to see. So this is actually this is actually finer than that really coarse diamond. This is actually has worn out to the point where it's a little bit finer. I've been using it for a few months now. Let me see. So, but Isaac, that's why I have that. That's why I keep throwing that GoFundMe thing around, is because that's we really, even with Yakov's help, even if he can get stuff set up, because we just keep having a hard time, we're still gonna need help. That GoFundMe was set at $10,000, and that was just an estimate. Oh, so okay, Yakov, but it was that GoFundMe I set at $10,000, which we've gotten to, was a well, that was kind of an estimate. That's kind of what I based it on, and then I realized the thing that I forgot is, so she has a competition every month. So I've cut myself a bunch of times, but I haven't cut myself bad in a very long time. I got a pretty bad one time here not too long ago. There's still a scar and dirt in it. You probably saw it on Instagram. It was the one where it's like there was just blood running down my hand. I wipe it off, then there's blood running down my hand again. I got it down into the meat, but I glued it up and went back to work. And actually, I'm not that close to my palm. It just seems like it because of the angle that I'm sitting at. Bigger knives, I wouldn't want to. I'm going to have to flatten this stone though. It's starting to get a belly to it. Biggest thing I can tell you guys. What was that, Isaac? I can't. It's bright out here. I'm having a hard time. There's a lot. Yeah, I play hockey. I know how much it costs. I wanted to know how much to donate or what to send you. Guys, I'm not. What I was saying is the thing that I forgot is competitions. She has a competition pretty much like that. She has a competition pretty much every month. And it's like 400 bucks. Actually, it's gonna be more this competition. I was gonna talk to you, Yakov. You asked if you should try to say anything more. I don't know yet. I gotta put water in. I gotta put tires in my wife's car. So much shit. That's what I was looking at this morning, was places that might have tires cheaper than the place I usually go. But what I was saying is, so competitions are pretty much like 400 bucks, guaranteed. You got coaching fee, ice time, entry fee. This competition, she's skating 2 days. 2 days. That's 2 entries. It's 2 practice ices, 4 practice ices. Parking. It's just. But the thing is, I can't not do it. That kid's life revolves around that. And people are like, oh, you push her too hard with that skating thing. And I'm like, we don't push at all. I would be perfectly fine if she's like, Dad, I'm tired of it. I want to just do it for fun. And I would be perfectly fine with it. No, it's pretty much year round at this point. So they are going to take the summer and go to Japan, but there's competitions that she's going to miss a competition while they're in Japan for the summer. She may be going to Russia. Her coach in Japan is Russian, and the coach's daughter and my daughter are really, it's pretty much all year round. But it's a good opportunity. They're going for a month, and my daughter might be going to Russia for 2 weeks of that month. And I told her, I was like, I don't know if it's a good idea, baby. Not the money part. I mean, Grandma and Grandpa are probably gonna pay for it. It's not the money part that concerns me. She gets to see her grandparents once a year. I mean, well, I can't say anything. She's only seen my mom and dad. She only got to ever get to see my dad once that she remembers, twice that she remembers. So it's just that I can't go. And so there's, it's hard to explain. My family's never been real close. But I don't want to see her miss 2 weeks of the time with her grandparents. But when I said that, she's like, but I have a good chance here. And I was like, okay. Like I brought it to her. I said, hey, mom and I are not pushing. If you want to go to Russia, we'll figure it out. But if you want to go, you know, if you want to just stay with grandma and grandpa and get to see them, we're cool either way. And her mom, my wife was like, yeah, I mean, it's up to her. It's her decision. And she is pretty adamant that she wants to go to Russia and train in Russia with some of these other coaches. And I'm like, that's not us pushing. That's her driving herself. And there were people like, oh, she's gonna burn out when she's like about now. I don't think so. She's going harder. They were up and in the car at 4 o'clock this morning. Her school starts at 7. And here's the thing too, like if I thought she's not just like the athletic kid that doesn't, the kid's got straight fucking A's. She's in an advanced math program, she's in advanced English, stuff like that. And so she sets her own alarms, she gets herself up and stuff like that. And I wish I could bring it to the rest of the world for them to see how dedicated she is to it. And so I'm thinking, there's a couple things I'm thinking about doing. I was thinking about getting the GoFundMe publicized by maybe local local media outlets, things like that. I really don't know how to go about it, and really don't know how it works. So God, I hope the Hornets going. What's up, Simon? I hope the Hornets going up really takes some of the load off, but I'm looking at least another 6 months before I see anything from that. At least, if not more. So if you guys want, like if any of you guys know of media outlets and things like that we could, you know, publicize the GoFundMe, and I'll just get in touch with me, and I'll provide you video footage, whatever you need to help me publicize it. I think after 15-20 minutes we've got that. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see when we go to 250. So I'm a dad, and there's certain smells that as a parent will always stick with you. I smell diaper rash cream. Like Decident, you know the white baby rash cream? That's what I smell right now. It's blowing through from somewhere. Oh, the neighbor. My neighbor's son and daughter-in-law moved in, and they have a baby. I bet that's what I'm smelling. I forgot about that. I was like, we're the youngest couple on the block. Where is that smell coming from? Oh, guys, I have to tell you, I did screw something up a little bit. So you guys probably remember David as the guy that sent me the what am I looking for? The Brian Nadeau Typhoon, not the mini Typhoon, the one I did red and black. He sent me a bunch of other knives, sent me a bunch of Gavcos, and I started to I had a pretty fine stone. I had like a fairly fine stone, and I was just trying to see how the stones were gonna sit in this really strong recurve on this knife that he sent me, this Gavco. And the stone slipped, and I scratched the finish. And I talked to him. He says he's fine with it, and I was like, yeah, I get it. You're fine with it, but the thing is, I'm not, and I'm really upset about it. And I got to take a look and see what I can do to maybe get those scratches out, but I'm not sure. He said because they're not deep scratches, they're just a scuff. Because the stone, as I put it down on the stone slipped. It got out of position, and the stone slipped and hit the flat. So I really don't like when stuff like that happens. Probably won't charge him for sharpening that knife. Probably refund him some. But other than that, what's everybody doing? I'm not seeing a lot of chat. You guys all busy? Are you all working? You guys are gonna get in trouble. I had thought about going over to Matt's house tonight. I had something I wanted to do. He's got some stuff and I wouldn't have had. All right. This thing still needs a repro. This tip is so asymmetrical on this. I'm still gonna have to take material off. I still have to take material off on this side to see if I can just do it with this 250. 250 grit stone's pretty it's pretty good grit. You can still do a lot of reprofiling, but I think I need to go back down to a different stone. I'll go back down to this diamond. Working, sorta. It's hot today. It's warm today. So, well, I will stick around. There's 14 of you guys. I'll stick around if you guys want me to. I'm still working. It's not like I'm going anywhere. So, I have to do a little bit more reprofiling on this side. This is where that temptation to tilt the knife over comes in, and then that's when you wind up with a rounded tip. I'm not gonna lie, I just had to put a lot. I sold that. I sold this Gen 1 Skaha. Migraine medicine still. Yeah, he's gonna be there. They weren't gonna go, and then they got asked to go and be at the Mass Drop and Wii booths. So that'll be fun for them. It's good for them. They stayed away from the knife show scene for a while, and people kind of forgot about them. And I think that's something that they forgot. True. Your knives are all done. My headache went away, and I got your Spyderco done. So I'll be shipping those out. I'm gonna start packing some stuff up this afternoon so that I don't, because tomorrow I plan on being at the shop all day. Probably isn't gonna be a live feed tomorrow. But yeah, Yakov texted me this morning. I was like, no live feed? People are gonna think you're dead. And I was just like, I had a couple things I had to take care of. There was just no way around it. I think we've got it. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have it. Well, we definitely formed a burr. I don't know if you heard it. So, what was that? Somebody just said something, didn't they? Sweet. Probably, I mean, maybe. I might get up and do it because I here's the thing. So going to their shop, no, it was a combination between weather and arthritis in my neck causing a migraine. So, I was getting ready to say something. I forget what I was talking about. I lost it. I'm still, that migraine medicine is so strong, and I took it last night. What was I talking about, guys? I had started to say something, and then True jumped on. Fuck, I forgot. Oh well. Guess it couldn't have been that important. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So, no, it's not that. I think they're starting to. They stopped going to shows for a while, and people kind of only saw them on YouTube occasionally and on Instagram a lot. But like they weren't putting up a lot of videos, and they stopped going to shows, and they kind of just faded out of the focus. That's what I was talking about. No, I was getting ready to say, so there might be coffee tomorrow, Yakov. I might do a coffee. This is basically I just finished my coffee a little bit ago. The thing is, I could do it tomorrow because if I leave here before 9, it's going to take me till 10 to get there. Well, at least if I leave before 9, it's going to take me about an hour to get there. So if I leave at 8:30, I'm going to get there at like 9:30. If I leave here at 9:15, I will get there at 9:30. There's a window where you catch, it's that traffic, that bullshit traffic. So I usually, if I'm going to go to the shop and be there most of the day, what's up, Chris? If I'm going to shop and I'm going to be there most of the day, I will probably not leave until 10:15, and then I won't come home. If I get everything done before 3:30, then I'll come home. If not, I'm staying there till like 6. What the last bar edge looked like from? Well, it was pretty busted up. True. That I'm not gonna lie to you. We've got to talk about the additional. I took your stuff to 10,000. I want to see. So you had said 12. I wanted to see if you wanted to go all the way up to 12. Because it's $5 extra a knife, and then I had to do a lot of reprofiling on that. K-bar, and that's why I didn't want to just. I know you had said something about leaving them at 8. Then you said something again about 12, and I was like, let me see where I'll just stop in the middle and see how you like them that way. Even. How do you clean it? Fucking soap and water, bro. Just wipe it down. If you have adhesive on it, just wipe it down with just take a paper towel and spray it with a little bit of WD-40. That's why I have WD-40 out here. I use it for cleaning adhesive off blades. I knew what you meant. And then after that, just wipe it down. Just spray some WD-40 or even olive oil, and just wipe the adhesive off. It'll take the adhesive off, and then just wipe everything down with some hot soapy, or just some wet, like a warm soapy cloth, or some rubbing alcohol for the blade. And then if you got any like anodizing and stuff you want to if you have any anodizing stuff that you want to clean up, just use I'm trying to think, Windex. There we go, Windex, or any alcohol. If it's got ammonia in it, it'd be even better. I don't know what it is about the Windex. Anodizing loves Windex. Like it shines it up, it cleans it up, it makes it look new. Let's go ahead and go to 650. So I'm going to show you guys. This is what the stone. Okay, that's fine. This is what the stone looks like when I start. I cleaned it up a little bit, but we'll see what this looks like. I have burned 600 calories out here in 2 hours. So like I said, this is 650. I showed you how clean it was when I started. I had someone tell me that they use these stones, and they said that they only use 10 passes per side on each stone. And I was like, well, that's great, but I bet you're not trying to remove all of the previous scratch pattern, and you're not going to a level of finish that I am. I watched a video last night that was actually really informative and entertaining. It was a guy, he was talking about the difference between 1000 grit and 16,000 grit. And what he was talking about is blades for a plane. And so it wasn't so much that the plane blade, hand plane, would not cut at 1,000 grit. It was the finish it left on the wood. And he's like, he showed the difference, and he was like, okay, if you use a 16,000 grit edge, if you're using a 16,000 grit edge, you probably aren't going to have to sand your work. It leaves a polished, clean surface. And I was like, I can see that. Because the tool marks that it leaves on the surface are going to be so much finer. And he showed like how much longer it takes to go from 1,000 grit to he used a really, really good 16,000 grit and just spent like maybe a minute. I don't recommend going straight from 1,000 to 16,000, but if you have a good one, you can get away with it if it's a stone that cuts well. I've got it written down somewhere, True. I'll get with you this afternoon. So this is what it looks like in a 16 or a 650. This is that Koenig, what is this? The Koenig Gremlin? Is that what this is? Goblin? Gremlin? Goblin? I don't remember. Goblin, yeah. Take off a good bit of material on all these stones. The one that's really impressive, because we're about to go to it, is thoughts on this? It's a little small for my hands, but overall it's not a bad little knife. I don't like it has this weird, I mean, it looks weird, but it is really comfortable. So the blade here comes down and this comes up, and they fit so perfectly that like the design reminds me of something Elliot did one time, and I saw it, and he designed the knife, the blade first, and then a handle to fit it. And I was like, wow, and then I was like, that looks weird when I first saw it, and then I got it in hand, and I was like, oh, holy shit. That is perfect. I can't remember what it was he was working on. So this is the 1100 grit, and you can see it's pretty much pristine. It's got a little bit of schmutz on it, but man, this thing cuts well for 1,000 grit. That's the lower grit stones, the 250 and the 250 and the 650, you don't see a big difference between them and the aluminum oxides or the Chaucera, or say a Silica Carbide stone. You really don't see that much difference, except they wear longer. It's when you get into the higher grits, that they really, really start to just surprise you. Like I said, it's 1,000 grit, and it's taking off some material. And the finish on this 1,000 grit, I'm not gonna lie to you, I could strop this and show it to someone, and they probably would not be able to tell it from an 8,000. unless you got down on like the microscopic level. Maybe if you got the microscope out and got to looking at the actual edge finish and everything. But yeah, these higher grit diamond matrix stones that David Scott makes are amazing. I still have to do that holder, the carrier for this, for freehand sharpening, so I can get that to market too. Yeah, it does a real, wow, that's sharp. Such a keen edge. Let's go. Usually helps if you use the stone part of the stone, not the aluminum back. I think I started this about the 15-minute mark, so for a reprofile and everything on a M390 blade, that's not too shabby. This stone smells fun. This stone smells like dirt. Every time I use this stone, I'm like, it smells like, I'll tell you exactly what it smells like. It smells like when I was a kid and I'd go out after a rain and I'd play in the fucking little dirt road in front of my grandparents' house and I'd pick up rocks and I would build a dam, and so the rocks would come out of the mud. It smells like mud. I love it. It reminds me of home. The finer stones, I will say that these finer stones though, they will pick up grit and allow it to just incorporate into the surface, and it's hard to get it out. And the only way to do it, and the problem with it is, the only way to get it out is to use the abrasive that you use for resurfacing. Problem is, I think that's what's getting into it sometimes. And every once in a while, you've just got to go back and repolish out a weird spot. So, but you know, it is what it is. So, 20 of you guys, we'll do this out to the, been 48 minutes. I can stick around for 12 more minutes, but I don't want it to be more than an hour. And I get people complaining, saying that I'm just trying to get more ad revenue, which if they saw how much I truly make on my YouTube channel, they would laugh at their previous statement. What do you got going on? I've just been saying stuff. Thoughts on Silica Carbide stones? I don't like the Silica Carbide as much. I have some Silica Carbide stones. Silica Carbide stones have a tendency to just come apart a lot easier than, like I have a Silica Carbide 220. I have a Silica Carbide 220 grit that I will use on softer steels. And the problem with it is it dishes out like that. It just comes apart. So I'm not a big fan of the 220 grit stones, or of the Silica Carbide stones. But I mean, they'll get you where you're going. The problem is you're just gonna have to replace them faster. They're cheap, but they don't last as long. There's some good ones out. There's some pretty good ones out there. It's just a matter of getting them finding them, make sure they're actually what you want. Somebody said something else too. Let's see. Picked up one of the giant mouse knives and a canvas card. Really nice ergos. Canvas micarta. I gotcha. No need to go back. Not quite as good as my Falcon. Not for my hand anyway. 1000 grit, pretty good to stop out. I mean, that's not a bad grit if you're just like an overall daily use knife. Yeah, 1000 grit would be perfect. A lot of my personal knives are at like, oh God, that was a good evening. You know, that video never got a lot of, that live feed never got a lot of views. And I don't know if it's even still up. Just getting any little bit of scratch pattern I might have missed. So we're gonna feel this for any weird gritty areas. Because it's been windy out here and shit is just blowing all over the place. And they've been working out here in front of the house, and so they were blowing with the leaf blower, and there's shit everywhere. It's everywhere. And so I'm gonna have to clean my stones off real good before I start, just to make sure I don't have any weird sand or stuff that now we're just gonna hit it on this before we go all the way up, and we're gonna make sure that I've got all my little facets from that rocking motion taken out. And if I haven't, we'll see how it looks on the strop. A lot of times that strop will take out the last little bit of the shoulders. Let's see here. Don't know jet. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you had to go. I was like, what? Where are you gonna go? It's nighttime in Croatia. Matter of fact, it's almost 9 o'clock at night, I think. Yakov? Almost 9 in Croatia? Almost 9 p.m.? So, we're on our final stone. Well, no, we're not. Now we're on our final stone. This one gets your attention when you're done, but it's very soft and it's really easy to cut into by accident. All right, let's take a look. Oh no, no, I have to go up one more. Sorry, one more stone. One more stone. I was wrong.
forgot how far I was supposed to take this one.
I would have went in and looked at the paper. I mean, that's what I always do. I always check everything that I'm sharpening against the note that's included, which is why it's important to include a note. I've had a few of you guys that did not include notes lately. I don't feel good, guys. I think I'm starting to get... Who was that? What was that? Who? Ben Marshall. 9:40. Oh, so it's almost 10. This is one of those knives that just is never going to feel sharp. It definitely is. I guess it's not. What the fuck's going on here? Well, now. How curious. Just doesn't feel sharp. There are some knives that will do this to you no matter how hard you try. They will make you go, I may have to go all the way back down. It happens from time to time. Let's see if I just needed to touch that back up just a little bit. Definitely feels, let's make sure we knock the burr off. No, it doesn't want to bite. Yeah, it's M390. Just doesn't seem to want to bite. See? That's out of character. It doesn't even, no, it doesn't even sound like it's trying to cut. Well, guys, I've got to do some investigating. So, how convenient. It's time to go anyway. So, guys, I got to go back and take a good hard look at this. Try and figure out what the hell's going on with it. What's good sharpening? I take stuff up to 8,000 grit for 25 bucks, 10,000 grit for 30 bucks, and 12,000 grit for 35 bucks. And caveat to that is I do charge shipping and handling, which is $15 for a small flat rate box. And it's just because of the time involved with packaging, the time involved with all that stuff, and I have to buy the stuff that I use for packing airbags. A lot of times I wind up buying those little airbags. Huh. That is weird. I'm gonna have to start this knife all over again. It's not cutting. It wants to just slip. It's fully apexed. I can't see a facet or a flat edge. You can't even see the edge. It should be cutting. Well, gonna have to take it back to the beginning. There's no burr on the. There's no burr that I didn't remove. It's just not sharp. Put you there and let you think about what you did for a little bit. All right, guys, it's been an hour. I'm gonna get off of here. You guys take it easy. I got a couple things I need to do anyway. My wife will be home in a couple minutes. I made a mess in the kitchen when I cleaned up all this out here. I take all this in and I wash everything off in the sink. So, yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I'm gonna reach out to the guy and let him know. I was like, it's not wanting to take an edge. I'm gonna look at it under. Could be. It's possible. Koenig usually is not the kind of company that would do something like that. It was not sharp to begin with, though, so I don't know. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna take a look at it under the microscope that Robert sent me from Canada. So, all right, guys, that's it. I'll holler at y'all later. Oh, one thing before I go. So I don't know if you guys saw this on my Instagram. My buddy Nico does some of the best hydrographic stuff I've ever seen. And this is a matte finished rattlesnake hydrographic that he put on this for me. If that's something you guys are interested in, find my Instagram. I put up a post about it. If you don't want to go that route, just send me an email and I'll point you in his direction. I'll get you in touch with him. So you guys take it easy. I gotta go figure out what